If you've ever bought options for an earnings play and had those options go to zero the next day, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. I'm your host, Ryan Faloona. We got a special guest for you here today, as well as 13. We got a ton of earnings, lot going on. Let's go ahead and get to it.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. I hope you all are doing well on this happy hump day in which we have Fed decision coming at 2 p.m. later today. So great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. We'll see what kind of trades we can actually get in the morning. Prior to that, I would imagine that the broader market would be a little bit slow, but we did have some pretty big earnings, so we'll go ahead and talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and bring on my main man, 13 here. Joe, how you doing this morning?
Doing all right. How are you guys doing? Everybody ready for some rate decisions and see the market make some moves off of those earnings we had last night or yesterday?
I think we are. I think we are ready. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it here, Joe. Let me go ahead and add my Benzinga Pro to the screen real quickly, just as a reminder. Great to see Gil here in the chat. The stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. This is the best prep firm out there. Huge pool of stocks, up to 260K buying power. If you need help getting over that 25K threshold, Trade the Pool might be the answer for you. Be sure to check them out. If you have any questions, you can always ask Gil here in the chat. He does a great job supporting what we're trying to do. Him and Michael are both great guys. So definitely check it out. Okay. We have the SPY here. Look, maybe this is the start of a move back down. 13, what do you think? I know we're down here soft in the pre-market after some earnings last night. We're lower than we were yesterday. What do you think about the SPY?
Well, we did need to kind of take some buying pressure off. We're starting to see more selling pressure. We've just been absolutely rocketing up in this market. So the thought now is one of two things. Is money going to leave the market, or are we just rotating into other more beaten up names? And I would think that we're going to see rotation. I don't think that there's an exit button quite being hit yet. I think we're just going to start seeing companies that haven't been doing well for the past year or 2 years start to get more attention. Some things that are down maybe 30, 40, 50%. But are still strong companies. Those are some things that I'd be keeping on my radar right now. Can't say for sure exactly which ones are going to start taking off, but I have my thoughts. Maybe TSN, maybe Starbucks. They have exposure to China, so I don't know if they're not going to get pulled down further from that or not. But I would think that some of these really beaten up names that are still good, strong companies, pay a dividend, have good cash flow, those are going to be on the radar of some of these rotators.
I think that you're probably right. One of the other things that I'd really like to see, I'd like to see a pretty strong, significant rotation into small caps. That's just me, though. Yeah. Jay here saying, and just right on cue, literally right as I said, that IWM was green all morning and just went red. So we'll see if that holds up here today. We'll see what the Fed decision does for small stocks and large stocks alike. But let's go ahead and dive into what's going on here. Now, I know we normally go to the movers. 13, are there any earnings that you want to talk about from yesterday or even this morning? I know we had a lot of them.
You know, I was only looking at scanners today. I know we had some movers. I think Boeing might be interesting today. We were talking about that yesterday on Happy Hour. They've had a lot of headwinds, a lot of negative news lately for no very good reason. But they have earnings. I don't know what their earnings was. I'd have to take a look, but I would expect there to be a bit of volatility here with this stock, especially to the upside.
I got you on the earnings, my man. Boeing was a beat on the top and the bottom line. The big news out of the Boeing print is that they withheld guidance. So they did not reaffirm, nor did they cut but they did not produce guidance. It says here, right here at the top, Boeing skips guidance amidst the ongoing 373 MAX crisis. So that's what's going on here. I don't think I saw any other re-ratings. Nope, not yet, although we may get those tomorrow. The other thing, if you take a look at the chart here on Boeing, this is a daily chart here. This is doing a really good job defending the 200 round number. Excuse me, I almost said 200-day moving average, but that's not true. It really kind of bounced off that 200 round number. We'll see if we get any more upside movement here in Boeing today. I would imagine that the conference call, there's going to be a lot of questions about that guidance. I can't imagine otherwise. That conference call here slated for 10:30 a.m. here this morning.
Yeah, could be a wild one if people don't like what they hear or they do like.
That's the other thing. Beach Bum Trading, amazing assist right here. Boeing CEO is actually on CNBC right now. Now, I have CNBC muted. I can just see the TV, so I have no idea what he's saying, but look for that stock to move, especially while he is on. Okay, I promised you a guest, and so I'm going to live up to my promise, and I'm going to bring on another guest directly from Trade the Pool CEO Michael K. Michael, how are you doing here this morning?
Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing?
Michael,
we're doing all right. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for this market here. Michael, the first question that I want to ask you here today, we've had you on a number of times, and first of all, thank you for jumping on with us again. Thank you for being very generous with your time. I have a question. You've done a really good job giving us stocks that they're definitely going to be in play. You're outlining support and resistance levels. How does your trading change when we have a gigantic earnings week like this? That is to say, do you actually trade the print, or do you just trade afterwards based on what the stock price does?
Yeah, that's a great one. First of all, because you have so many stocks to choose from, you gotta understand how to analyze them and how to, filter basically, right? So you first, in my opinion, you first go to the stocks, obviously go through one by one, analyze them, see the support resistance, see which one of them will have more potential, more volume, net change, like the net change is higher than usual. And then you need to see if you have enough space to play around with the levels, right? Because any stocks will have highs of like resistance and lows as support. So you need to see that you have enough space to play around with. And that's the first thing you will do. So between those like 7 or 10 or even 15 stocks that you're looking at, you need to stay with like 3 of them and just focus on them and look for the ones to trade, like the scenarios to occur and basically execute the trades. So that's what I'm doing, because earnings season can give you a lot of trades, a lot of opportunities. You just need to stay focused. From time to time, if you're looking at too many stocks, you will end up not actually trading those because there are too many, right?
That is, you know what, Michael, I'm glad that you said that, because that is actually something that happens to me frequently. When I'm looking at too many things, I am actually looking at nothing. It reminds me of an old college adage: when you highlight everything, you highlight nothing. So I think that your approach here is actually quite good. Focus on stocks that actually fit your plan. Michael, I'm going to go ahead and start with the graphic that your team provided us here today. We do have 3 stocks on here. I'm going to guess, I don't want to assume, but I'm going to guess that these 3 stocks are going to be on your radar here. First one here is Google, resistance at 146 and support at 143. Now, this is GOOG, not GOOGL. So let's be careful about that. This thing sitting right above resistance. Do you like this for a bounce back play here today?
Yeah. So can I share my screen and talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely you can.
All righty. So let me grab that. And let's look at Google for that, because super interesting. Also Starbucks and AMD. But let's start with Google. So what I usually do is just go to the hourly chart or 2H, 4H, and just start analyzing it, very to the basic core, right? So you can see it dumping down to 444. And what I'll do is just look for another support and resistance. So I know it's going to open around here. The next support and resistance will be the guidelines for the rest of the trades, at least at the beginning of the day. So 144 is about here, right? So you have this gap that is basically still open if you're looking at the regular trading hours. So at around 145. So in case we will bounce to 145, that could be an interesting play to the downside. So basically get the support from 145. Obviously, because we're talking about Google and a stock that can actually move a few dollars a day, we need to mark not a specific area, a specific point, but actually give it a little bit more space. So I will go ahead and mark it like this. So between 145 to 145.50. If it will play and hold this position, the resistance, then it could be a nice move to the downside. And you can see that you already have this gap still open at around 143, right? Between 143 to 30. So this is also a place where you can mark the level and understand that this is your play. So shorting it at around 145-ish and then go down to the 143. And this is basically the play. Another move could be, breaking through that resistance, retesting it, wait for the retest, and then push higher. Obviously, first level should be at around 147.70, and then you got this gap that is still open, so plenty of room to the upside as well. So this is what I would look for, either a breakthrough of the resistance, retesting it, go long, or bouncing, starting from 144, bouncing up, holding that resistance, dropping down to the 143. This is what I'm looking for on Google.
Okay, this is
the beginning.
This is awesome, and I think obviously what I like the most here is you have a plan for both. You have a plan for both scenarios, right? If this comes down and continues to break down, you're going to trade it that way. You've got your levels already identified, and if the stock bounces, you're going to do the exact same thing. I would say the next one on your list here is going to be Starbucks. Why don't we take a look at Starbucks here? The other thing about Starbucks, before you give us the levels here, this was a beat yesterday. So this actually traded up yesterday. It's having a nice day here today. We are holding yesterday's highs here in the pre-market. The interesting thing about this is that they break out some of their revenue growth and like their ticket prices, and ticket prices in the US was up 4%, but internationally was down 3%, and China, a big driver of their revenue, down 9%. So I understand that the stock is popping here today. One of the things I'm going to be looking for on Starbucks is a potential short opportunity. But what say you here? You had resistance at 99 and support at 96.5.
Yeah, so you can easily see the pre-market resistance, and also pre-market and regular trading hours at around 99, right? And if I'm zooming in or taking out the pre-market, as we understand, it's open at around 99. You can also mark the level just above it, because again, big names will not, in most cases, will not stop just on the right dot. So it will bounce from it just a little bit more. In that case, we also have a nice level around the $100. So I would look to the downside, as you mentioned, to try to short it between the 99 all the way to 100, and then to push to the downside. One option. The other option is that we will start and maybe drop first, and then I need to look for another support level. And like we said, it's opening at around 99. So the next support level, not a very clean one, but you got it from, let's say, 98. We can mark the 98 all the way to the end of the gap, which is at 97.70. So this is probably what I'll look for once we will start the trading session. So this is it, basically. Either going short between the 99 to 100. I prefer to go short around the $100. It will be, in my opinion, better. And then you got plenty of room to the downside. Or if we're dropping down, try to catch it as it will go to the $98. That's a nice place to start buying it. Maybe a push to 99. You will have a buck here with a solid risk reward. And that will be it. So basically, let's say shorting it here or taking the long side around the 98. Other option, or the third one, will be breaking that support level at 98, retesting it, and then go short, and you got plenty of room to the downside, also roughly $2.50 to the downside. So these are the scenarios you can look for on Starbucks.
Okay, awesome plan there on Starbucks as well. Now, the last one from your list, Michael, at least that you had here this morning, was AMD. All right, so we've got AMD here, resistance at 169.5, support at 160.5. What are you seeing here on AMD?
Yeah, first of all, a very nice drop after earnings. We reached the top at 185-ish, and now dropping down 165, 164. We already had support or resistance currently, so this is all area of resistance between the 64 or 5 all the way like $2 up. So a classic one will be to look for the downside from this area. I'll take out the pre-market so we can see some gaps as well. So a classic one will be to short it from the opening between the 167 all the way to between the 165 to 167. Again, if it will break through that and hold it as support, then that could be also a nice place to start looking for the upside. So you still got this gap open at 172-ish. If it's dropping down, and then the next support level, the major support level, will be at around 159, right? Again, this is an area. Don't look for the specific point, but actually mark the levels. So that could be a nice short from 165 all the way to 160, 159. Maybe add in along the way as you see a nice trend following. And yeah, I believe this is the two scenarios we can work with.
Okay, awesome. That is a great list here. Great start here for the day. Again, just to kind of recap, we've got Goog, G-O-O-G, SBucks, and AMD on the watch list. Michael, if you see anything else, be sure to shout it out here. And let us know if anyone is going to trade any of the other stocks that haven't reported yet. Now, I know we get Apple here Thursday after the bell. I believe we get NVIDIA at the end of February or in the February 20-something. I can check here on the calendar in a sec. But let us know if any of you are taking any of the other trades based on what you're seeing in some of these names that have already reported. All right, I do want to run through some of the smaller stocks that are on the mover scanner here today. Michael, let me take the screen back here real quick. And I'm definitely going to get this done before the open so we can watch that opening print and take a look. I'm going to flip over to the Trade the Pool broker as soon as we open. Let's first roll through some of the smaller stocks on the list here today. 13, I'm going to start with Para here. I noticed that you were entertaining a discussion in the chat regarding Para. Para received, there's a news this morning that I think it Byron Allen's group, the Allen Media Group, makes a $14.3 billion offer for Paramount Global. That came from the Wall Street Journal. That is popping Paramount up here 14%. Notable that it is off the highs here. So we did pop as high as, just over 17. We're right down here about 15.5, right around the VWAP. This one moving here. 13, did you have any other information on this one?
I think there's a lot of information already on in the chat about it. The only other thing I was noticing is with the more preferred shares, which is PARAA, this may see some squeezing just because it has a short interest of 7.3 and it's got over 13 days to cover. So there could be some squeezing in this. Other than that, you pretty much covered the entire thing here. This is looking to get taken over with an M&A, probably going private. And I don't exactly have what the buyout price is on per share, but I think it's somewhere over 28, maybe 28.50. I'll have to double check that though.
Okay, so we will double check that, but that's still pretty good. We got 8 points from where the price is now on that, so maybe we will see some volatility here in the session. Next on the list here is going to be ENSC, and we're all familiar with this one. We've traded this one a lot recently. This popped as high as 280, really kind of came back in. Looks like it's trying to break down from that VWAP. Did have a PR here this morning. Ensize Biosciences reports completion of a constructive end of phase 2 meeting with the FDA regarding its lead next generation analgesic. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So PR here on ENSC. We've seen this one run before. Be careful though, it is bleeding. We want this to hold support if we're going to end up trading this. 13, do you have any plan on ENSC?
This got a low float, about 3 million. They did have reverse splits in 2023 and 2022, so I don't think those are as consequential. But one thing that was interesting is that their short interest is up to 8.12%, which is the highest short interest they've had since they did the reverse split last year.
Okay, and right here in the pre-market, unable to hold two, but so far holding the 187 pre-market low. Let's see what happens by the time the market opens. Next here on the list is going to be NINM. This is another one that we've traded recently off of the scanner here. This popped twice. In the pre-market here, we have a lower high on the second pop. We're actually right beneath the VWAP. I didn't see any news earlier. Let me see if I came across this one. Yeah, don't see any fresh news here. So this might just kind of be a technical trade. Given some of the other setups that we have here this morning, this one probably on the back burner for me, but figured that I would mention it. AHT, another one here. I feel like we've traded this one a long time ago. Can't remember how this one trades. We did pop just about as high as 183. We've come back into the VWAP. See where we settle or see where we get another trade here. If we get another trade here on AHT, they did have a PR this morning. Ashford Hospitality Trust provides an update on plan to pay off strategic financing. So glad they have a plan, but to me that PR seems a little light. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure where this one's going to go. Again, I'd probably put this one on the back burner.
Yeah, it's also got 3.4 million float. I'm sorry, not 3.4, 34 million float. So not really a smaller float like some of these other names that are much easier to push around.
Definitely seems like it's going to trade a little bit thicker. Another one on the list is yesterday's big mover Nexi. This one popping here again. We did have the big move yesterday. I'd be very, very careful with this one. I don't trust it. I know a lot of our traders here yesterday were absolutely smacking this one around, which is great to see. If you get the gains, book it. Nexi, this one looks to get fired up. We were halted a bunch of times on this one yesterday, right? I can't remember exactly how many, but I know that there were a bunch of halts on the way up. The other two that I really quickly wanted to mention here before we turn it over to the chat, I know we only have a couple of minutes before we open. We'll take a look at this, at the stocks that you folks have on deck here today. Pixelworks, PXLW. This was a good trade from yesterday. They sold off late in the day. Looks like it's trying to hold that. We'll see if it can get above VWAP here and give us another volume expansion type trade here. Might be over. The big move was yesterday, but keep it on the radar. And then the other one that's up here again, seems like it's up almost every day, is Plug. This one doing a really good job kind of riding above its VWAP. So we'll see if we get any setups on this. All right, let me flip over to my main workspace. Are there any other stocks that you folks want to take a look at? Stryker. Okay, so this is interesting. We didn't talk about this yesterday, but to me, this is interesting. Jay Rice mentioning Stryker, SYK. They, of course, reported earnings yesterday. This was an after-hour print yesterday. Trading higher here today, up about 5.5%, just over that. Jay Rice saying pickleball knee replacements, one of the reasons that Stryker is up. I don't know if that's true, but if I was a betting man, I'd bet that is exactly what the case is. Pickleball seems to be really still taking off in its glide up in terms of popularity. They mentioned that anyone of any age can play, and I'm sure that leads to some blown out knees. So maybe that's what's going on here with Stryker. I've actually never traded Stryker, so I don't necessarily have a trade plan for this here today. We'll see if we end up getting it. Looking at the scanner here, I have pretty much just penny stocks on it right now. I know Teva's on there. Teva down about 1.1% here this morning. We'll see if Teva can actually bounce and return towards those highs. Is there any other stocks that you want to take a look at? Michael, 13, chat, anyone out there?
We did trade REVB recently. I think just early, maybe it had been earlier this week or last week. They are moving again a bit on a Form 8K filing. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to read through all that, but apparently there's something in there that's moving the stock. So if you feel like reading it or trading it.
Also a massive low float stock here on RevB, yeah. But you're right. We did talk about this one. How about you, Michael? You got anything else you want to take a look at before we open here?
Yeah, I got obviously NVDA also on the radar and Tesla, but also ARBT. That's iRobot. That dropped nicely. The news was that Amazon or the EU, decided to cancel Amazon and the IRBT collab or merging, and basically it dropping from 40 all the way to 15, and right now even lower at around $14. There was a major support level at 15.22. We broke that, and now we're below it. So it will be interesting if we can go all the way to the 12, the next major support level. That's a gap that still open from 09 to 2009. So that will be interesting to go all the way down to the 12. You can try to look for the short side, just a nice break of the 1380, or just wait for the $12 and then try to buy it. We need obviously volume in order to trade it. Currently not a lot of volume, but looking intraday, definitely some major volume coming in. So I'm a more of a buy the dip on that if we will reach $12.
Okay, awesome. And then I know we're opening here in just about 20 seconds. The last one that I really quickly want to mention here is NVO. This is Novo Nordisk. They're up here. Novo Nordisk shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results and issued guidance. This is on the weight loss drugs. That's been a huge driver here. Novo Nordisk trading up here about 3% in the pre-market. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip over to trade the pool here. I got to figure out, producer Alyssa, help me out here, which this is what we needed. Bang, there we go. All right, I am still holding the TGTX swing in trade the pool. That thing is absolutely rocking, been a really great trade, but let's figure out what else is on deck here. We are open. I'm going to go to AMD first.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in how that's trading. Sorry, whoever I just ran over, apologize. AMD kind of lagging out of the open here. Let's take a look at SBucks. Starbucks below the VWAP here. Looking like this is going to try and move lower here.
Looks like Nexi's the big mover out of the gate.
Okay, Starbucks so far holding that. There goes 98. So let's see where we settle here on Starbucks. Looks like they're trying to hold it there. Joe, let me bring up Nexi here. This is the big mover. Who's surprised to see Nexi being the big mover right out of the gate? Not me.
Very low float. Very low float, 909,000 shares. So this thing's getting pushed around like crazy.
Up about $2 from its VWAP right here.
Now it's coming up to the pre-market high of 21.29. See what happens when we get up there. Looking to maybe see if there's some resistance. It tried twice. It tried twice to get up to that level and break through it, but it got rejected. So
CNXA being mentioned here by Crow in the chat. CNXA, the penny stock ripping out of the gate here. I'll probably pass on this. Looks like there's a battle at 45 cents here, CNXA. Take a look at iRobot here, see if we're getting any of that bounce. The robot's still kind of holding in here. Oh, Humana. So I took that Humana butterfly for a bounce play. That is absolutely working here. Really, really good. Humana continuing to bounce off that low. Remember, the thesis here is that there's an artificial floor under it with all of the institutional holdings for Humana. This bounce continuing here. Would love to see this trade back up to 400. Again, my butterfly on this one was 400, 425, 450 on that butterfly with a May expiry. So Humana here, that trade, that swing trade, rocking right now.
ENSC came down out of the open. Looking to see what happens if it can get down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which is around 172.
We missed the drop. I missed the drop on Starbucks. I'm waiting to see if it can pull back to the resistance at around 98-ish and then to short it. But it's actually dropping nicely.
Okay, so you're looking for a retest of 98 and a failure to then short this here. I like that.
Yeah.
Jay, I know you said earlier, why would you short Starbucks after it's up after a bad report? My thought there is that maybe we revert back to the mean here, right? I'll be honest, I'm not really sure why it popped yesterday other than it's been beaten down going into the print. I'm just not sure that this can hold here. I like Michael's plan, though. I like that you're being very, very tactical about the entry. To me, any type of trade like this, the entry is going to be the most important. And I think that the plan that you gave us earlier here is sound. Starbucks looks like it's trying to bounce here. Let's see if we get that 98 retest, Michael.
Yeah.
MINM being mentioned by Smoke Tuna here. Smoke Tuna, you've been on fire recently. MINM crossing over that VWAP. Let's see if we move higher here. I have the intraday high print at 325 on NINM.
Yeah, I'm taking a stab at MINM and RAVB. RAVB still moving.
I'm going to try NINM with you right here, 326. Check back in on SBucks while we're waiting for that. And Michael, let me know if there's another target that is on your radar here. I can either share your screen or I can bring it up on mine. No problem.
Okay, so our EVB has been halted.
Upside halt number 1 of the day. Our EVB. I beg your pardon.
So I shorted AMD just to feel it, not too heavy. Just want to see it holding this resistance that we talked about between the 165 to 167. So right now I'm break even, just a buck in the money. Hopefully we will see another bounce to the upside, and then I'll go a little bit heavier. So right now I'm just testing the water with 200 shares. Hopefully I can get to about 800 or even 1,000. But let me see if it can go a little bit higher to my to the area of the resistance to take some extra liquidity and then drop.
Okay. Real quickly here. Oops. What am I doing here? Oops.
Got my stop set for MINM.
Yeah, I was going to say NINM. So real quickly here, while we're waiting that trade out, NINM did pop here. I'm hoping for a bust above this 339 intraday high, 340. There's a little bit of, there we go. There's 345.
Raise and stop.
Actually, you know what? That is a good idea. That is a good idea.
Well, I hate to use the word hope, but $4 is my next level that I have to get to. It hasn't gotten there in pre-market, so I'm really hoping that it gets to 4.
Okay, I have my stop now at 341. Michael, I just got to say, okay, stopped out of there with a gain, 1 for 1 on the day. Nice start to the day. Yep. Michael, I just got to say, I say this all the time. I know it's personal preference for me, but I can't help it. I absolutely love this ladder functionality. This to me is the best way to trade. Being able to adjust stops right on the chart, not having to look at anything and then make adjustments to that right from the ladder. Right. Folks, if you have not tried this out, please try this out. It makes trading easier, in my opinion.
I do like the ladder. My trade brought with MINM brought to you by, so it's a very similar ladder.
Let me go back to Michael's screen here. Let's get an update on that. See what we're looking at here. Sorry, go ahead.
AMD started to drop. Again, I'm only with 200 shares, so it's not a lot for me to actually take profit or anything like that. Hopefully it will bounce again, maybe to the 164, and I can add more to the position. Or I got the 200 EMA here, this green line. And again, if it will go a little bit lower, then bounce to it as resistance, I will add more. And as we said, we got plenty of room to the downside. Try to test those lows from pre-market. Hopefully we will reach that. Starbucks is moving a bit higher, so we can start looking for the short side. Just reach that resistance that we marked and then started to drop. Again, I'm just waiting for it to go just a little bit deeper into this area so we can actually short it better or get better executions. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now.
Looking good in that AMD move. Michael, I think you're spot on. I think at some point today, we probably get that 160 test. I know it's early here right around the open, but that pre-market low, I actually have the actual point. I have it at 159.50, but to your point earlier about that being an area, I totally agree. Right around 160. That's going to be an important point here for AMD when we test it.
Go ahead, Joe. Cooper mentioning ONMD. That one had a nice move a couple minutes or about 5 or 6 minutes out of the gate. It's hit a high of 184, coming back in a little bit. This still looks like it could make another move. 195 is the next level I have. No position in this yet.
Okay, great call there, Joe. This did bust above one of the areas yesterday that was kind of holding it down. That was after that initial pop. I have the next we're right at resistance. I have the next spot here at about 209 ONMD. And then the other thing I wanted to clean up here real quick, MINM. You saw the huge pull here. I'm actually really glad that I just kind of set that stop, right? Allows me to kind of move on from it. NINM might go higher here. We do have a couple of levels above it that are likely going to be in play. 370 and then 382 on MINM. Intraday high print 355 so far. RVSN. I'm seeing RVSN. Yikes. So this is RVSN. We had a huge sell-off after the highs we printed yesterday. Okay, 23 and change or whatever it is. Stock's currently at $14. Did this get halted? I'm not seeing it move. No, it did not. Rev B and Nexi, the only ones that have been halted so far. RVSN, this looks like this is going to go lower. I expect a test here of what, 1320s?
Well, there goes REVB out of the halt, and I hit my sell order. So
great,
yay.
Great trade there. 13 Rev B, very, very thin, very, very spread, but moving higher here. REVB. Junie says getting REVB FOMO. Be careful. Be careful. We highlighted how risky this one can be. Be careful.
I'm looking at Adobe as well, ADBE. I traded it yesterday. Actually, 2 days ago. There was a very nice trade. We talked about it in one of the lives that I did. Great resistance, just shoot up to a resistance. We took that short. Now still dropping, looking pretty good on the hourly chart to continue the move to the downside. There's support around the 613, 614, this gap that is still open. So we can expect it to go lower, not necessarily right now, but I'm just looking for that moment where I can start adding or getting into that position. And I can assume that it will drop to this support just to take liquidity. Maybe if it will go a little bit higher to the 620, we can start looking for the downside between 620 to 622, the lows of yesterday, and then try to catch it again to continue to the downside. Yeah.
Look how good that resistance level is. Look how well the stock obeyed that resistance level. That's almost perfect. It's great when things work out like that. That's phenomenal.
ENSC had that bounce off the 65 or just a little bit beneath the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. That's what I was looking for, but I wasn't paying attention to it, so I missed that entry.
Okay, and real quick here, here's Rev B 13. Great job on the scalp, right? Great job having a limit order out there so the thing can get taken. Look what happened here. This popped higher out of the halt just as you were hoping for and came back in here. Is this halted again?
It's looking like it's about to be, yeah.
Like it's about to be. Okay, I don't see it reported yet here in the halt tool, but it looks like that is coming here. Rev B, only one halt so far. We'll see if we'll get our second one here. Great trade, though, 13. Great way to be nimble. Our Rev B is halted now to the downside.
Yeah, so just 2 trades today so far, MINM and REVB.
Great job by the chat. As always, Nexi is open and moving lower. You were warned earlier about Nexi. Jay Rice has been all over that.
You were warned.
Well, no, it's seriously. I mean,
you're right.
Because things are gapping, and just because things ran the next day, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do it again. Jay also saying here, TXN. This is of course Texas Instruments. Slow bleed after the earnings were not that great. That's kind of a theme we're seeing in some of these chip stocks.
Yeah, I've been holding my SQQQ for a while. So today is looking like a good day.
AMD CEO currently on CNBC right now talking about the AI transition. That's, of course, Lisa Su from AMD.
Yeah, so you see AMD is popping up. I guess they like what she's saying. And but still, we're getting into that resistance. So I'm waiting to see if it can hold this resistance, continue to hold it, and then maybe start moving to the downside. Although, again, anyone that's jumping in on Bloomberg or CNBC, in most cases, can drive the stock high because they can only say good things and it will pop it up. So hopefully it will hold this resistance and we can go short. Well, it was a great move on Starbucks, though. It's a shame.
To answer Aramis Estevez's question, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thoughts on SQQQ? If there was, I don't want to make any suggestions on getting into it, especially at this level now when we're starting to see the movement really take off. But I think the time to get into this was when we were getting those earning reports yesterday from Microsoft, Google, and AMD. Those were taking the market down in after hours after they reported. So I think that would have probably been a good time, maybe even earlier in the day yesterday. But I don't want to make any suggestion or give any thoughts on where to get in SQQ now. I don't know if that would be a good idea.
TGTX here, this swing absolutely ripping, having a great day here in that swing. AMD currently 165.66. Michael, you mentioned Starbucks. Let me bring that up here. Looks like we actually bounced, didn't quite get back to 98, but got real close and then continued downward. So it looks like the plan you had on Starbucks was excellent.
So it actually, I marked the level between the 97.70 and it was right on the dot, right? But things like this happen. So we missed that trade. Really nice move. I mean, that could have been a very nice trade, very solid.
That plan was absolutely phenomenal. Hats off to you. And I know that you said that you missed it here. This is actually one of the things that we talk about all the time. First of all, it's harder when you're live, you're talking, you're flipping around. It's harder. It just is. Yeah. But on top of that, it's okay if you miss it. There's going to be another one right around the corner.
Always, every day. So we got to keep that in mind, not run in and try to catch it, no FOMO plays, nothing like that. At the end of the day, you got tomorrow.
Really, really good advice. Live to fight another day. Don't try to be a hero today.
So looking at Zim, see if it's going to get over 15 again.
Now, Zim, remember, I closed that out yesterday. By the way, look really quickly looking at SMCI, this bouncing here after a really rough day yesterday. I did not put a butterfly on this one, although I thought about it. Hadn't done it. So, Michael, missed that trade. It sure looks like, at least so far here. So, and I'm sorry, Joe, what was the ticker that you had just mentioned?
Zim.
Zim, right. And that's, of course, I closed that yesterday. Unfortunately, looks like we are awaiting a 15 breakout here on Zim.
Yeah, I my thought on this. I think that over the course of maybe this whole year, we'll see this go up and then maybe come back in. But I think the story in Zim is not over yet.
I think I'm going to be in and out of this over the course of this year. AMD moving higher here now, 168 be approaching here on AMD.
Yeah, I'm out of that trade.
Live to fight another day, like we said.
Yeah.
Looks like ONMD, another old girlfriend, is breaking through $2 and is trying to keep on going up. Next level would be 220 that I have.
Yep, and that is from I have a level from yesterday. 208 was your intraday high yesterday. That we'll see if we get some resistance here. We're coming right up to that right here on ONMD. Great call here, Jonathan.
Yep.
I mean, look at Goog. Same thing. Sometimes you just not in 100% focus, but we talked about those two levels between the 145-ish, reach that resistance, drop all the way down to the 143, the next support level. So so we missed Starbucks and Goog, but we took AMD.
But right. once again, Michael, look at the plan, and this is a key point, right? You're making a plan before the market actually opens, so that you can actually execute on this when it happens. Both. I know we missed these, but both of the plans spot on. We're going to hit them eventually.
Yeah.
What else is moving?
Smoke Tuna called Trib. This is just a penny stock here, but maybe it has found a bottom. Smoke Tuna has been absolutely in fuego with some of the moves here that go lower, find a base, and then start to curl up. Tuna, it's Wednesday, and I feel like you've hit 3 or 4 of those already here today, or already here this week. I beg your pardon. So maybe here on Trib, I'm going to pass on this penny stock. Actually, it looks like it's breaking lower after I talked about it, so that's cool.
Nexi's open. Our EVB is open. And then thank you, Len and Randy, for pointing out S-Bucks. She's pointing it out because I have a long-term position in S-Bucks that I'm still trying to build into. and I would like to see it lower so I can get better prices. So if it goes lower, they'll be happy for me.
Now, we talked about Starbucks. Starbucks coming pretty much right back to where it was yesterday prior to that report. So it looks like so far nothing but red sell candles on the 3-minute chart here. So that short off to highs, that ended up working right here. We'll see if Starbucks, kind of catches here. Does it break below the trading range that it was in yesterday? Looks like that bad report. People might be waking up and smelling the coffee on that bad report. Sorry, 13. Had to take it.
That's funny. We might see some support in the 500-day SMA on Starbucks too, because it seems to have been pretty good support when it's been above it. It's going to need a good amount of volume to crash through it, though. So we'll see what happens.
What level do you have for that 500-day?
I have 93.83.
Okay, we're almost there.
Mm-hmm. REVB halted to the downside. It is absolutely getting smacked down. So that was a fun little trade out of the first halt, and then now it's off my screen.
Good job taking your gains and not staying married to it and getting hurt.
Look at Zim. What a move through 15.
So we've been talking about 15 as a key level for Zim for several weeks now. Look at the pop that we're getting through it. It also enticed more volume to come in there, as noted by the volume stick here. Zim moving higher. Well, gosh, I guess I shouldn't have sold it yesterday.
That's why I've been letting the small amount that I have left run. If it goes under 13, I'll add more. But if it's popping, I'm just, hands off. Let it do its thing.
SMCI continuing its bounce here as well.
For Zim, it will be interesting to see how it handled the 1540, 1550. And then you got this gap still open at $16.
Yep. 1606 to 1736 is where I have the gap there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. I made sure I pointed that out a while back for one of our happy hour regular viewers, Ken, who absolutely loves gaps.
Any news on the ZIM?
So it's very much tied to shipping rates, and I don't think that we're done seeing they just got hiked to a buy by Jefferies, so I don't know how much weight that's going to have. But this is getting Zim and Maersk are getting talked up a lot as the good shipping plays. So there might be a lot of sentiment getting funneled in that direction. REVB halted again to the downside. Let's see how much lower this goes, or if it pops.
And to 13's point here on Zim, let me go ahead and get Pro up here real quick. Here is the news feed. Zim did get a Jefferies upgrade to buy that $20 price target. That was on Monday. So it looks, I have no fresh news since then. But as 13 mentioned, this does move on the shipping rates. Zim, big power candle here going higher.
Yep. I just took a tiny bit more off the table. Just going to kind of sell off into this rise on the price.
Great thesis and great patience on this 13. Well, like I said, when we talk about these places, and sometimes we talk about the different types of trades that we do on this show. This was a textbook example of a swing trade with a catalyst behind it that we've been talking about, checking in on, and now executing every single day. We all left with profit. It sounds like Ryan Milligan in the chat. I'm still in Zim, but I may sell it for now. Nothing wrong with booking those gains. And if you want to hold a trailer just in case this thing gets wild, probably not a bad tactic either.
Nothing wrong with taking profits at all. I mean, I like I said, I don't think the story's over with Zim. I'm paying a lot of attention to what's going on in the Middle East and the Suez Canal, the Red Seas. It's something it bears worth monitoring if you really do want to play Zim to the upside. I think it's definitely worth paying attention to.
Carmen mentioning SMCI on fire. This thing, nothing but bouncing here today. Nothing but bouncing. One back test of the VWAP on this 3-minute chart intraday. Everything else has been buys. SMCI continuing its move higher here. That would have been a great butterfly to set up. I'm disappointed in myself.
Look at MINM holding. Well, it's holding my VWAP, but it's looking like it's about ready to go higher. I still have $4 as my next target.
It's holding my VWAP as well. And yes, you're right. It looks like it's coming up to the high of day here. I've got the high print at 365. We're right there on MINM.
It's trying to push through. And I think maybe in the next maybe 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes, one of those three, we'll probably see that move up into 4 and over it. If it doesn't happen here. It's really trying to push right now.
There it goes, right through it. 370, new high here, 375 next.
Where did that come from, Andrew Kennedy? Allow a few inches of space heat exchange under the personal computer. I mean, if it's cold over there, I get it, but that's a funny comment.
Let me tell you something. The best part about winter is my office is the most comfortable room in my place because the computer just heats it up. I have like my own personal space heater right next to my feet here.
So look at MINM, got all the way up to 388, and the bears came in, but it doesn't look like it's finished yet. There's a lot of sell orders at $4, so it wouldn't surprise me if we pop up to 4 and then just come right back down, or we go right through it if there's a big enough whale that buys up that area.
Guys, I got around to my next meeting. It was a pleasure, like always. Thanks so much for that,
Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. Awesome plan here today. Thank you very much for the watch list. Hope to see you back often. So
Yeah,
really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, my man.
Likewise. Good luck.
Take care.
Take care.
That is Michael from Trade the Pool. Remember, Trade the Pool is the sponsor of this program. It also is the best prop firm out there, up to 260K buying power. We even have the CEO join us, give us plays and charts. I mean, come on, guys. Where else are you going to get that? Where else are you going to get that? And it looks like his employees like him too. Awesome stuff.
Bye, boss. That's a good sign.
Awesome stuff from the Trade the Pool folks. We're very grateful. Thank you very much. And we've actually had a pretty good trading day here today as well.
Yeah.
Still 1 for 1. It was a little bit small, but I'm okay with that, especially on a Fed minutes day. I think we might have our bigger day trades take place in the afternoon today. Just a hunch.
I just want to address this. Funkadelic Bob, welcome. And yes, we some of us were holding Zim before it popped this morning, and we were just talking about that. But if you're in it with us, welcome.
Yeah, it's been a swing trade for us, Funkadelic Bob. That's an awesome handle, by the way. I mean, I could say that probably every day. It just make me happier. Anyway, we have been swinging Zim here. 13, shout out to 13. This is actually a discussion that bled over from the happy hour program to the live trading program. And then we were actually able to trade it live, which was really cool. So yeah, we're keeping an eye on Zim. And let me tell you something, I'm out of it, but it will not be the last time that I trade this year. That much I can promise you.
MINM being an absolute beast right now, we're over that $4 level and we hit a high of 430. Now we're coming back down to that $4 level to see if we get that as support.
You know, Michael was just talking about missing trades here. This would have been one, right? We're glad we hit this earlier, got a little bit of profit there. Obviously, you can see where the buy and the sell was on the scalp. The big move here happened later, which I, of course, missed. Would have been a great move here through 355. Looks like the spot that really kind of sent it here on MINM. Look, if I'm not flipping around, if I'm not talking, if I'm not doing all this other stuff, maybe I hit this. But after watching this, what I'm not going to do is get upset and chase it. I'm actually going to wait for a setup. Like Michael told us, there's always an opportunity every day, maybe even later today. I might not even have to wait till tomorrow. We'll see.
I'm noticing that ENSC through the 65 EMA, through the 200 EMA, it's looking like there's more downside ahead. Maybe we get down to in the 140s pretty soon here. I don't know what to make of ENSC. It's not looking good at the moment. Could come back later, though. Zim just continues to make new highs. It's an absolute beast.
I feel bad that this one was on the list. This thing has done nothing but bleed. Going to be a complete round trip here.
Well, you know, it's just one of those things that you're not sure how it's going to react out of the gate, and it's still had some pretty good catalysts. It's got all those other boxes checked that we use to see if it's a good trade. You know, the low float, the reverse splits. You know, last year and the year before, it's short interest. It had all those boxes checked. So somebody just didn't decide that this was worth holding on to, and it just created a cascading effect. Unless there's some news we didn't see.
Jane Smith mentioning Mark, out Mark, 70-cent loss. Oh, well. Sorry about that, Jane. What I will say here, first of all, you'll get right back on there. Losses are just part of the game. The one thing I will say about Mark here, we've had a discussion about this in the happy hour a number of times. This stock's been around for a long time. Very fraudy activity on Mark. I know Judge, who joins us here. Judge, you might still be here. Judge hit this out of the park yesterday and then talked about it on Happy Hour. When you trade some of we talk about this all the time, a lot of these junky names, when you trade them, be careful. Tight stops might be the way to go on some of these.
AHT, the volume's a little low at the moment, but it's setting up. So maybe keep an eye on it. This might break the pre-market high of 183. And then I don't have levels for this, so I'm not exactly sure where this is going, but it's got a decent setup right now. So just maybe watch it.
Junie, yes, AMD is no longer on CNBC. I'm actually looking at a commercial for joggers, I think. Viore, yes, Viore commercial. AMD has ceased its CNBC appearance for right now. AHT, I think I like that on a bust above 180 if we can get that. Jay Summers saying, yikes, RVSN getting pummeled. Remember what we said in this one, 13. It's not over till it's over. Is it over?
Well, I maybe, and I think I would defer to Lynn and Randy because they're the ones yesterday during Happy Hour said they're going to short it, or they are shorting it. So
they did.
That might be doing really well.
They had an intraday $4 short on that yesterday. I don't know if they're playing it today, but yesterday, intraday $4 short. Okay, let's take a look here. GHSI, Crow calling this one. Just reclaim the VWAP. Maybe this is moving higher here. GHSI. Smoke Tuna mentioning Trib. That was the penny stock. That was great call. Smoke Tuna, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. The last time we talked about this, the stock was moving down. I said, hey, Tuna's been really, really good at spotting those bottoming flushes. Looks like the MACD was really kind of telling the story here. MACD histogram went positive, is expanding. We've got the signal lines curling back up. No surprise. Trib moving up off the lows. Let's see if it can actually take that VWAP and move higher. Smoke Tuna, you're just doing it. You're just built different.
Never
built
stop, Smoke
different.
Tuna. Never stop.
Never stop. Don't change.
Mm-hmm. What is this? Remember JTAI? That one's starting to get some attention. Don't know what the news is or anything, but it's got a bit of a formation. It's just very spready.
Is this an actual AI name, Jet AI, or is this kind of one of those BS
I have
names?
no idea.
How about IDAI? That was another one that we talked about yesterday, right? What's that doing?
I got a fill.
Hanging out.
I got a fill.
You did get a fill. Okay, great. I'm in that one too. Real small.
Yeah, and I'm just slightly above it, and I'd want to add some more if it comes down to under 140.
INOD, one of the other AI names that we talked about. This one I really like. Still holding this one here. Not a huge position, but I'm up on this. My average is 667 here on INOD, so almost a good 4 points here. I am looking for 12 to 15 on this, so I haven't sold it yet. I know we hit 1180s in the pre-market yesterday, but I didn't lighten up at all.
I want to see INOD make a lower low from from Monday. I want to get a little bit lower than that because Monday I missed my opportunity to reload this because that was the plan I had with this one was to reload under 10. I'd prefer closer to 925. I don't know that it'll get down there, but if it does go under 10 again, I'm going to reload so that we can get this move up over 11 and stay over 11. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
we got a good pattern here. So
yeah, we sure do. Speaking of a good pattern, 13 SMCI continuing its bounce back here. This might fill the entire earnings gap down here today. SMCI real strong.
Wow. Yeah, I really don't know what to say about SMCI other than it's getting a heck of a lot of attention and it's just an absolute monster.
CRBP, Crow, haven't you been on this one? Looks like maybe we finally kind of discovered a new price area here. If you take a look at the daily chart, here's that big pop. We came in back into near the bottom of that island, frankly. Now we're starting to curl back up here. So CRBP, this looking interesting. This was up in the pre-market here today, about flat here today. It's up a little bit, but CRBP, this is actually kind of interesting. Bigger volume here today as well.
I think it's worth pointing out what Lynn Williams is saying. She's out RSVN now, and thank you, Interactive Brokers, for the short. That's the big thing that we were really surprised about. Is that she actually
how did
got
you get borrows?
shorts.
Yeah, amazing.
So that was huge. So if you guys are looking for a broker, maybe take a look at Interactive if you like to short things. They might be able to get you your fill orders on your shorts.
Jonathan Cooper mentioning TSVT. This was a nut. Look at this. So this is why on some of those earlier stocks I talked about, one of the next levels coming up here is going to be yesterday's intraday high. Look what happened on TSVT here. As soon as we broke that, that also equated to the biggest move in the stock intraday, as well as the biggest volume candle. This spot clearly being watched yesterday. TSVT moving higher here. I don't even know what this company does here. That looks like a 435 break. Sent this thing another 40 cents. TSVT.
I'm gonna look
GHSI going. Our chat scanner. I'm gonna call you guys to chat. Buddy, what are you doing? Did you guys see that? He tried to crawl on my back. Now he's out of here. Anyway, GHSI, that is moving up here away from that VWAP. Did get a little bit of a pop here. This stock feels thin. Let me see if I can get a share structure on this.
Okay, so TSVT, yesterday they were talking about focusing on their commercialization and development of one of their drugs, and they're selling its R&D pipeline to Regeneron. So that could be one of the big reasons why it's moving so much. And it's also got a coverage price target of 18. So that, and it's also, got 12.8% short interest, 5 days to cover. So, it's checking some boxes. I don't know if it goes to 18.
GHSI, by the way, float on that 1 million. So this is kind of a low float stock that's likely to move around. Spread actually isn't too bad here, just under 10 cents for most of it.
We looking.
Looking around. We've had a good day here today, though.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, this has been great.
Off the heels of some large caps having not so well, they had great earnings, but I don't know if their guide was any good or if what was said in the conference calls was what investors wanted to hear, because Google in particular really selling off. It looks like, did Microsoft hold up pretty well? They still above 400?
Microsoft was the clear winner. Jay was talking about that earlier here. And if you take a look at the Microsoft chart, this really, this is definitely doing better here. I know we popped early and we kind of gave it up, but we really haven't broken down. We're certainly not near the lows from yesterday, at least not yet.
Okay, well, that kind of solidifies Microsoft as one of the strong AI plays. Of course, NVIDIA is there too. There was
Nexi with elite price, 1337 price on Nexi here. That moving to the downside.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what that other. IBM. Those are, I think, the 3 best large cap AI plays.
IBM, the OG AI play.
Yeah, IBM, Microsoft, NVIDIA. We're getting some spam about Fed.
Yeah, Kuldeep, just once. We'll see it here. No reason to spam the chat here. What about the Fed meeting? We are waiting for that. That's going to be 2 today. 2:30 is the actual conference call. I expect there to be some exaggerated movement from that. That's the other thing. I think we actually might get more setups in the afternoon, especially for some of these bigger stocks. I know Michael did a great job around the open here on some of those stocks that reported earnings, but there might be another move still to go.
Looks like Watson X is going to get rid of coders. There's been a discussion about how some of these smaller, like these entry level coders, will likely disappear. We'll probably see those. Other coders, other software engineers, probably not. If anything, they're going to be working hand in hand with AI. But I agree. We are going to see some shaking out of some of those coding jobs. SPY continuing to slowly go down. I have 485 as the level of support if we see an acceleration in selling in the broader market. Looks like DWAC is trying to get to 40. Didn't quite get there yesterday. Oh, about 20 cents.
The DWAC here. DWAC, yeah. This popping here, popping through the VWAP on DWAC.
Yep. Born, you're absolutely right. It is going to shrink the pool. Absolutely. DWAC, I mean, if we can get some EMA crossings over VWAP, this probably will be going higher than 40, but until that happens, it's not going to happen. What else? Yes,
Yeah, I'm
SQQQs.
still looking around here too. I'm sorry about that. MINM. God, I can't believe I don't screw that up more than I already do. MINM here, holding above that $4 level, flagging here, maybe setting up for another move.
Looks like it could be. We can call it mini me if you want.
Ooh, mini me. We're doing it. That's it. The pet name has stuck. Mini me. MINM. I like it.
Yeah, I noticed that SQQQ still kind of sideways a bit this morning. We had a matching candles out of the open, matching candles thereafter, and now it's just a bit sideways. Like I said, not sure if this is what kind of action we're going to see here, but I wouldn't chase just because this has potential to go down. Some of these tech stocks have a potential to come back. Just
real quick, I want to shout this one out. All right. And let me zoom in a little bit here so it's easier for us to see. Smoke Tuna just called this ENSC bottoming. Now, we just talked about how the calls here on these smaller names that come back in. Smoke Tuna has really been all over it. Let's take a look at the exact same indicators that he's looking at, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have that MACD, right? We had the negative histogram compressing, looking like it's about to turn positive. We have the signal lines here really bottoming and now starting to curl back up. Look what the price is going to do. Maybe ENSC on a move back to the VWAP here. Currently have it at 159. You know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, Tuna. Bang. Long ENSC right here on a move back up. We're going to have a real tight stop. Let's see. We've got this at 152. I'm going to set my stop at 148 on this name. 148.
I am going to wish y'all well and not play that one. It could come back. I'm just not particularly enthusiastic about the volume at the moment. Yep.
I totally feel it. Totally understand where you're coming from. Stop in there. ENSC, Smoke Tuna. Let's get it.
It looks like GHSI is really trying to push into the pre-market highs. It's getting these top wicks, but it's not rolling over. So maybe it rolls over soon, but it's looking like it's still trying. So not writing that one off yet. MINM probably going to make new highs, and there it goes.
Mini me, not so mini anymore.
Nope.
Look at this. Look at the formations here. This is really good trader. I might be worth it for me to kind of just keep this up. We've taken 3 legs up here, right? Leg right out of the open. Nice little consolidation. Move off the VWAP for the second leg. Another consolidation. Now, this one's a little bit more extended from the VWAP, but we're having the same type of action here. This pushing away from the VWAP here. 450 your intraday high here on Mini-Me. We'll see if we take that out.
Yeah, we mentioned why it was moving, right, Mini-Me?
Yes, we did it in the outset, but I can rehash that for you right here.
Because the only thing I saw was that there was a 51% active stakeholder that reported yesterday after hours, and I think that's the movement's today now.
That was it. That was the form SC13D from yesterday that came in the after hours 13. You're exactly right. Nice job. 450 coming here on Mini-Me.
Oh, it already got up there. It just pulled back. I think 460 is the level if we want. It's coming back in. Nice move. It had nice formation and nice pop. Looks like we're getting a bunch of pulls. Well, AHT didn't pull. That one's breaking out. That one did the thing that I was looking for and didn't get in. Maybe I don't want to chase it here because I think it's about to go some more.
Yeah, this will break above that pre-market high.
Yes, and Mini-Me and AHT looking like the strong ones for the moment.
SMCI, man, that thing has just been an absolute beast. Absolute beast. Okay, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and tease something here for this week. We're going to have a preview. 13 doesn't even know about this, so he's sitting on the edge of his seat here. I like this. We are going to have this week on Friday, we are going to have a preview of a new segment that we are going to install here on Live Trading. I heard the feedback. I know you folks are talking about options. I know you want your options content, and I know options are not my biggest proficiency. 13, you feel the same way. So don't worry. We are going to plug that gap. Stick around on Friday. I cannot wait. This is going to be real, real fun. A little bit of a tease there on Friday. Walter, we announced that Mitch is actually moving on to the next phase of his life here. We wish him well. He is no longer with Benzinga, which is why you don't see him on the shows. Little bit of a tease there. I wouldn't be surprised if you see me doing some type of content with him in the future. Just saying. Don't have anything planned yet, but just saying. But he did come on here and wish everyone well. So, and we wish Mitch the best as well.
Yep.
What happened to Nick Shaheen? He kept printing money. Nick Shaheen's that's what happened to him. He's had some amazing calls recently. He's still part of the research side.
Oh, no worries, Rick. I was trying to look at that too, but I think it's, their low float is also really helping push them around. But yes, I think that's probably correct. All right. Looks like SQQQ is trying to push higher. Are we getting some more weakness? In
Jay saying MOD saw the earnings this AM, didn't get why it was down 6. Is that earnings report not all that bad on MOD? The thing that we're seeing here, Jay, is this actually bouncing right back to balance. So that little gap down on the earnings looks like that's just going to get bought right back up here. Ticker MOD. And you know what's funny about this one is MOD, this actually had a big move recently. We had a gentleman pop on the happy hour, talk about MOD like 3 days before the thing moved. A stock that I had never really looked up before, I'd never really looked into, and just goes to show you the value of putting other people around you that look at different things. He put MOD on the entire radar for the happy hour.
Yep, we love those. We love when everybody brings new things to our attention. We get all excited. Wow, look at Mini-Me go. Yeah, Dr. Evil's freaking out.
Oh, I wish I was still in it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but like I said, look, especially with some of the day trading that I've been doing recently, the fact that I've been green the past couple of days has been great. Swing trading and day trading has really kind of come together here. So that's okay.
Yeah, it looks like AHT popped to 192 and then came right back in. So I'm not sure if that one's ever going to get going the way I'd like it to, but yeah, not going to really worry about that.
AMD coming back into the VWAP here. We'll see if that VWAP holds.
I saw
SMCI finally pulled. That might be coming back to the VWAP 13. I'm sorry about that. What was that?
Right. I noticed that AMD was coming in and some of these the other tech names that reported yesterday were coming in too. So, it's helping the SQQQ rise a bit, but not by a whole lot.
AMD bouncing off that VWAP. Zim coming back to 15.
Well, all right. Uh-oh, what just happened? There it is. Well, what's everybody seeing right now? I'm just kind of waiting for some things to flesh out here.
I know, Jay, you had mentioned the banks earlier. I was looking at a Goldman Sachs chart yesterday. I think I like this for a breakout above 400. No position yet, but maybe I'll take a look at that. Maybe I'll take a look at some Goldman Sachs here. Jonathan Cooper mentioning ONMD. Big rejection here on ONMD. Oh, big knife here right through the VWAP. This returning back to the pre-market level here on ONMD. That ENSC trade. Holding in there. Holding in there.
Yeah. Just not seeing anything making the big moves for the moment.
And you know what, 13? That might be what we see for the rest of the day here until we get that Fed meeting, right? We might see maybe kind of a slowdown here in some of the setups. Maybe some of these smaller names will go, but I'm just thinking.
It's possible, but I mean, you tell that to Mini-Me. I don't think that one's interested in
Fair
stopping.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, Mini-Me doesn't care about JPOW. Bourne saying that the 32 level on SOXL, that's, of course, the levered ETF to the long side here. 32, some significant resistance here. We're getting that in the pre-market and the regular session here on SOXL. That this on the daily chart, this came back into its 20-day.
Yep, just cycling through the names we've been looking at this morning, seeing what's setting up.
Around here.
Yep. Apologies for the awkward silence.
Hey, sometimes you just need to take a breath. That's just
well, when you're full of hot air.
VXRT having a nice little day. Move off that VWAP.
Thanks, Lynn. Yeah, it's we're still up on the day, even though we have a big red candle. But yeah, 93.83. If we break down from that, that'll give me hope that I can get some lower fills on SBUCs.
Baba at highs. Just checking some of these Chinese names here. JD at highs.
You know,
Yen at highs.
I don't know if you caught what Tom had said about those Chinese stocks, but I think it was the CCPs I guess we'll just say ordering. They're ordering people that are playing stocks not to short.
Yeah,
so
short sale restrictions.
Yes, so that might play into the upside for some of these Chinese names. And just to reiterate, they're going to have their Lunar New Year starting next week, and that's going to go on until I believe the 19th.
And their markets are going to be closed.
Their markets are going to be closed. Yeah. So keep that in mind. It creates considerable risk if you try to get into these names while they're closed or try to. I'm just going to avoid Chinese stocks altogether.
Yeah, me too. Baba here. While we were talking about that, Baba went red green here.
They want to call my bluff. TSVT. Still, it's pushing now. It's over 5 up to 508. CNXA looking good. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's got a pretty good formation set up there. Maybe we get $1 out of this one today if the volume keeps expanding. Looks like Zim's trying to recover off that drop that we just had, bouncing off the 15. Yep, bouncing off the 15 EMA on the 5-minute. ONMD, it looks like it wants to try to hold the 65 EMA, but I'm not going to take a stab at this level. I'd like to see what happens. It's still pretty, it's still trying to spread a bit. Not too badly, but volume's not quite there.
All right, I'm
not quite there.
Sorry, 13. Jay, I'm glad you're bringing this one up. I saw the news on this one here today. Glad you're bringing this up here. Ticker NYCB. This is New York Community Bancorp. That might be a one-off, but it's hurting KRE compared to the XLF big banks. So I saw that. When I saw that this one was selling off, I said, what was different about this than some of the other smaller banks here? I'll be honest. I know you said earlier banks have been strong, some of those bigger banks in particular. No one's really talking about it. The financials trade's been very, very difficult. Like I said, I looked at a Goldman Sachs chart. Maybe we get a breakout above 400. No position for it yet, but would love to hear how you're approaching some of these financial trades. This is something that we kind of toss around happy hour too, but I don't think there's any type of consensus that anybody has on this.
On this particular bank, no, I don't think there is.
Decent move off the 6th level here in the NYCB. ENSD going green. Let's see if that can continue, maybe pop up to that VWAP.
So NYCB was expected to do 28 cents in EPS, and they ended up doing negative 27.
That's what it looks like here.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's not good. Not ideal, as they say. Not ideal here.
Yeah, I'd probably have to dig through their report to see what their credit loss provisions are, because that's been the big thing I've been watching for some of these banks.
Yeah, and I wish there was a line about that, but I don't see it here yet. Missed revenue by 36 million on top of that.
Yeah.
Halted on a circuit breaker earlier today.
I mean, it looks like it's recovering nicely. I just don't know. I mean,
Looks
maybe
like they had a
maybe we go to
dividend cut.
8.
They had a dividend
Yeah.
cut. So
Yeah.
Rick saying, glad I sold NYCB. Rick, I'm glad you did too. I'm glad you did too. Good move, man.
Wow. You ever have a door like just slam shut right behind you?
Ryan, thank you. NYCB have terrible loans in commercial real estate. That's definitely hurting them.
Oh, yeah. They're going to have to probably write some of those off. CNXA still trying to make that move. Still got a pretty good formation, but the volume just isn't where I think it needs to be.
Hera, that's continuing to move lower here. That lost that 1550 level.
Yeah, that would be.
This is good. I like this. I like this. No, but with Goldman Sachs, JPM holding up hard, holding up, comma, hard for me to see more than a 5 or 7% correction, which would be a healthy shakeout of some weak hands. So I'd turn this around into a trade here. Do you think if we do get any type of 5 to 7% move or whatever the number might be, that's a buyable bottom? Maybe that's a long financials trigger right there.
TSVT is pushing up, got to 522. I'm just checking into some news about Intel right now that they might be making chips for NVIDIA to handle their, well, I guess we already got that move, to handle their production.
Intel, maybe this is kind of bottomed. Maybe. It looks like maybe it might be drifting lower here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that the news may have already been reacted to out of the gate here when we got up to about 43. But I don't know. Maybe more attention gets paid to it in the next matter of minutes. Looks like DWAC still trying to make that push to 40.
We're only 40 cents away on that.
Mm-hmm.
How's GHSI doing? We talked about that one earlier. That's sideways. Right at VWAP. Yep, sideways, right at VWAP. So the robot is on the hill.
Okay. So ENSC, it's looking like that's starting to look a little bit better. That we need to get over that 200 EMA.
Yeah, we need the volume pop that you said we didn't have earlier. That's really, we're in the same deal. We really need a volume pop here. Although I do think that the bottom that was identified here is quite good. I think it's quite good.
That was actually great.
That was a really good call there. AMD rolling back over to the lows here.
Because NVIDIA didn't choose them. Oh, people are funny.
I would be interested to see if DWAC really moves if it clears out 40.
I'd like to think that people are trying to push to 45 for obvious reasons, but because it was an interesting level when we got up there was some back and forth at that level. I thought that was funny. Okay, so yeah, DWAC's, and there's 40. So if you got DWAC, you got money.
DWAC right through 40, getting that pop that we just talked about. ENSC, let's see if this is going. Tuna might have hooked one.
Now he needs to gut that fish. Yeah, we're through that 200 EMA, moving up to the next set of EMAs. I mean, if this passes through VWAP, then this probably is going to make another run over up to 2.
Huge buyers on NYCB.
Just waiting for some setups. noticing that some of these mortgage stocks that I've loved for a while are starting to get a little bit more movement off their sideways action they've had.
Is that RKT and UWMC?
Yes, sir.
Both of those stocks looking pretty good. The NSC going here?
I think there's a good case to be made that those will do better later on this year, as especially if there's some kind of push to help first-time home buyers.
Elon says fake morning uptick, AMD spiraling down. Might be a bit dramatic, Elon, but we are moving back in here. We retraced about 75% of that move up there.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Jonathan. Our VSN's party's over. I think Lynn saw the writing on that wall.
Hell, Lynn helped right to the wall.
Yeah.
Right on the wall. I mean, they were hitting the short on the way down.
Yeah. And it looks like it's bear flagging. So I don't know how high the flag portion of this formation is going to go up. You know, maybe 1215 or 1290. Can't say, but I think that we'll probably end up breaking 1073 at some point. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Don't know when, but I don't like the way this looks. I agree that it could be going down.
I'm gonna roll through the scanner here real quick. Here's TVST. This took 5. This still at the highs. This is big. Nice big move here, TVST.
Ryan, I think you nailed that. DWAC wants to hit through 40. We just got buyers coming in because we ran all the way up to 41.27 and pulled back. Now we're looking like we're setting up for the next move.
Yeah, that level was clear. You got the round number phenomenon there, but that level was pretty clear. You're exactly right. We got that spike there.
All right, Zim, looking like we might get some weakness in Zim here. I don't like the way these wicks over the past 15 minutes have looked.
Okay.
It's trying to get back over VWAP. It's not succeeding in doing that. So I anticipate some downside if we can't close over the VWAP soon here. I'm going to go back and look at Mini-Me because, okay, so Mini-Me looks like it might be setting up to go again, which would be crazy.
You going to buy that high a day break?
I might try it very small.
Okay, there you go. I've been staying away from it, but looking at the formation here, I totally get where you're coming from. My worry here is that last move, real strong on the highest volume. Is this kind of an intraday double top and pull? We'll see here.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll try it really small, and I'll set my my stop or my limit order to sell at the high of 155. I'm sorry, 555, just to get a small profit. See if I'm right about it. It's not looking like it's happening right at the moment because we're getting some sell pressure. So
a nice trade, Richard. I know you were trading NYCB here. That has really just bounced. Looks like you just sold out of that. Great job here, Richard, early.
Ooh. Well, anything else we're looking at?
Let's see, anything else new here?
Looks like DWAC's coming back into 40. RAVB, one that popped and dropped this morning, trying to recover. May have found a bottom around 8, somewhere between 840 and 8.
Lynn, take care of yourself. Enjoy that Predators game. I'll tell you what, I could really go for a hockey game tonight. I am going to seek out some hockey. I think the Red Wings play tonight. I'll check. That just sounds really great. Put my feet up and watch a hockey game. Now we're talking. Richard says, I'm learning from you guys to take the win. Okay, Richard, this is great to hear, because if what you're doing is more often able to book profits, that's absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I'll say here is one of the next things that you're likely going to be dealing with is when you take some of these profits, occasionally some of these stocks will keep going. How do you react in that situation is going to tell a lot. Are you able to not feel like you missed it? Like I'm looking here at MINM here today, and I traded this for just a couple of pennies, and look at the huge move. I really don't feel bad though. The plan worked. I executed the plan. We got green early. I'm actually green on the second trade here. So how are you going to handle that? Are you going to trade it again? Are you going to be patient and wait for your setups? Or are you going to try to chase more gains that you feel like you're missing? This can be difficult. So it's just something to keep in mind.
Okay, so I'm stopped out of MINM. That didn't work.
Yeah, Easy Mike saying, Ryan, lots of big tech social media on CNBC to testify again. I already made a joke about Zuckerberg, the robot, Android, whatever, testifying there. Look, I don't know what to make of all these. I really don't. I think a lot of these guys are dirty, frankly. It's my own personal opinion. Yeah, Order Flow Trader said the Red Wings are at home hosting Ottawa. May bet that game. May throw a parlay on that game. We'll see. HKD setting up. Well, here's a blast from the past. Let's take a look at HKD.
Oh, this one.
Oh my.
Was it going to go to 2,000 again?
Scott, can you remember that? I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we know about that one.
CNXA, that penny play holding above its VWAP here.
Looks like things are starting to roll over here. Oh wow! Look at MDAI. That's getting absolutely clobbered right now.
Pixelworks, our trader from yesterday, just kind of a slow bleed. MDAI will pull up here. Oh my God, you're right. That is getting clobbered. Just nothing but a sell-off here.
Yeah, just looking for some things that are recovering.
Well, Bitcoin futures chart here is popping. That's at the highs of the day. Coin higher. Let's take a look at Mara real quick. Mara at highs. That's obviously reacting to it. Riot probably looks the same here. So these Bitcoin names moving here with the Bitcoin move.
Yeah, it looks like there was some selling in the afternoon yesterday, or the morning. I'm sorry, and ever since 6 o'clock, been taken off.
Looking through some stuff here. I see anything. I see INGN, nice volume pop there. I'm not sure what's going on. That market really pulling here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at the lows except for the Dow. Where's the IWM at? IWM near the lows too.
Yeah, MINM mini me going even lower. I don't. It's down to my VWAP, so I don't know if that's going to help support it or not. But you know, not in it right now. Yeah, this might be a kind of a break. What?
13. I'm going to step away for 20 seconds. You got it?
Yeah, for 21. Sure. So it looks like the markets, the SQQQs are liking this pull here. So, you know, there's some trades happening in SQQQ, but I think the best time to have gotten it was when we had earnings, as I mentioned earlier. Just going to cycle through some of these other ones, see what we're getting. It looks like Zim's trying to recover, trying to push back above VWAP. AHT trying to get support from VWAP. What are you guys looking at? KTRA, penny stock. Let me take a look at that one. Kintara. Oh, yeah, that one's moving. What's the news on this one? It is some filing, it looks like. So I'd have to read through that. But apparently there's something in there that's really driving the market. INTC is still selling off here. I guess that NVIDIA news isn't really capturing an audience. ONMD trying to recover off that 65 EMA. It's looking like it might be doing it so far, but let's see what happens if it can get to VWAP. Might get rejected there.
Just to take a look. Let me pull that up here. ONMD. That was a good call, actually.
Mini me still holding that VWAP area. Getting curious.
ENSC still doing its thing. Nice little slow grind. I'll tell you what, Tuna, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's starting to look like it's bull flagging or bull pennant. But that 65 EMA, we can get through that, then VWAP's the last obstacle as far as moving averages go.
MINM, I'm surprised this hasn't bounced here. I wouldn't be shocked if this actually knifed below the VWAP and INM. Mini-me?
That's a big concern I have too.
Yeah.
It's just, fading volume. It's starting to look weak. I mean, if it can reverse here and get back above 460, that would be good. It's starting to do it. SMH 181 next level. Thanks, Born. TSVT still grinding.
Here you go with your mini-me bounce. Maybe. We'll see.
There it is. Yeah, there's some more sellers starting to build at 460. Now it's getting eaten. Oh, they're moving down. They're pushing it lower.
Man, Bitcoin's still at the highs.
All right, some buy orders are coming in, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. I really need to take mini-me off my screen before I regret doing something.
I do the same thing. Sometimes I'm looking at something. I'm like, just take it off, Ryan. Just look at something else. ES futures here at the low. NASDAQ at the low. Not surprised.
Yeah, maybe it's time to pay more attention to these Bitcoin names.
Until we get the opposite move in Bitcoin tomorrow. And right back down.
We also are going to have some inflows tomorrow.
Yeah,
first of the month. ONMD still on the road to recovery. ENSC's still looking pretty good too. Still trying to get through that 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
That 174 is still going to be the spot there on ENSC. We'll see if we can take that out. 187, the VWAP.
Looks like Rumble RUM is having a pretty good day. Just I don't think it's getting noticed because not up too big. Oh, I like the way INOD's moving down. I want to get that. I want to get under 10 with this one so I can add. Really do. ENSC, there it goes.
Let's go, dude. Let's go, dude. Tuna is just out here. Tuna's just out here. There's the 175 level that we talked about. So we're at target 1 here. Can it move to 287 or to 187? Excuse me. Actually, it looks like it stopped there at that 175. Tuna out on that pop.
Mini-me might be recovering.
Okay, at this point, we're going to move the stop up.
Nope. Now it's selling again.
172 is our stop on ENSC now. This is actually another trader that I follow that I really respect. Just said, hearing some room furu mention TSVT, so it's time to sell some. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, just notifying all the buyers that are going to take your sell orders. DWAC. Oh, okay. We just had another big move through 40 again. spread on this thing. It goes anywhere from like a matter of cents to $1 or more.
Yeah, it really spreads out when it starts to move. Smoke Tuna mentioning that MINM is done.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Doesn't this really need to take, like, let's see, really needs to take 465, I feel like.
Yeah, for me, it's
and the volume's drying up. By the way, stopped out at ENSC for a gain. Bang, 2 for 2. Smoke Tuna out here doing it.
Yeah, for me, yeah, mini me needed to get a close or two above 460, and I would have felt better about that. But no, this I think he's right. It looks done. Yeah, well, I guess we're just waiting for the next moves. I know some of these penny stocks are really getting crazy here.
Look at that call, you guys, too. It looked like mini-me was trying to bounce, and we actually get a red candle right to the view app. Doesn't look like that 465 spot's going to get hit.
Yeah, that I think just before that big red candle got stopped out. So that's been the only loser for me today after it was a winner.
So it's scratched then. It's flat. You're flat. You're good.
Yes, that's exactly it. Right. I have no losses today.
Well, no, you do, but you traded around.
I have no losses today.
That reminds me of, I wish Lynn was still here. I wish Lynn was still here. There's actually a funny commercial that involves UC Saros, the goalie for the Predators, the team that they root for. One of the defensemen is saying, so what are your goals for retirement? And he goes, no goals. He's like, you don't have a plan for the future? He's like, no goals. Like, okay,
That's
good
awesome.
talk. No goals. It's just, you can't talk to a goalie about goals because it's just no goals across the board. Thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, they used the wrong operating word.
Yep. How's Boeing doing?
We mentioned that.
We talked about it early. We took it out of sight, out of mind. Boeing resolving higher, very, very orderly here. The key for me is that this really didn't break down through that 200 level. Same story as before. The one thing I will say on Boeing is if there's a big market move this afternoon, Boeing is likely going to follow that move. So,
yeah, well, 215 still seems to be a good area of resistance. And you have the 20-day SMA kind of bearing down on it in that direction now. If there is more upside to this, I don't know how high this goes. I still think we're going to end up going lower under 200. Can't say how soon that's going to be. Might be, a day, a week, a month. But I don't think that I think we're going to start seeing closes underneath 200 at some point. I don't think that problem with their aircraft is getting resolved anytime soon. It's going to hit their they didn't even guide. So
yeah, they held their guidance back. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't even know.
And that conference call should be going on right now.
Yes, it is. It started about 15 or 16 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And apparently they're saying some good stuff because it has not been taken down yet.
ENSC, that was a nice little move there. Look at this chart. So the stop was it, right? Just as soon as it started moving up, we raised our stops. The stock came back in, booked it for a gain. If it sets up again.
Born, speak it into existence. If I had that power, we'd all be doing really well.
Oh man. Oh man. The finances would be, if 13 had that power, the finances would be golden, but the football season would be an absolute tragedy to watch for me.
I just have fun, with it. I just start writing little pieces of paper what I think is going to run and just kind of like pull it out of my beard. The beard today says,
pull it out of my beard. Okay. Didn't think I was going to hear that today, but here we are. KTRA being mentioned here. Another penny stock. You did with mini me. This is Nick.
Did what?
Speak it into existence. Spoke the move and mini me into existence.
Well, I guess I wonder which move that was. I spoke into existence. I didn't want the down move. I was trying to go long on that, but it didn't work out. So maybe I need to hold my tongue. CNXA still looking interesting. So looking like there could be some formation here. It's just some of these top wicks that they're making in the low volume isn't looking great. It's a penny stock too, but it's holding this level. What does it look like? 55-cent level.
I see people buying Tesla puts into this move up here on Tesla. Tesla took out its intraday highs here, looking strong. Seeing some put sweeps come in on that. Put sweeps on Nvidia.
No problem, Nick. Oh, is Pfizer coming back now? Kind of, barely though. Maybe CNXA is the next one I speak into existence.
Just pulling a little bit here at CNXA. Let me bring that up.
Okay. Well, NYCB had their move all the way up to, what is this, about 720, 716. And now we're coming back to test VWAP.
Jay saying, Ryan, the waste management is so big now. There are 7 pre-qualifiers just to get into the Monday qualifier. Had to shoot a 66 to even get into the qualifier. That's wild. It is. Look, we talk about sports and sporting events and different things. Let me tell you something. If you're ever even a little curious about attending an in-person golf event, the Phoenix Open, the Waste Management Open is the one to do. That is a giant party. I swear half the people there don't even know there's a golf tournament going on.
Smoke Tuna was mentioning SAVE.
Yep, that's at the highs here.
The movement's off of the filing of an expedited appeal of the deal block. Every time they see it, JetBlue seems to talk about this, or Spirit for that matter, that seems to move pretty well. So if you're playing Spirit, pay attention to the headlines is what I would be looking at. CNXA, here we go. I spoke it into existence.
ONMD, right to the VWAP and through it.
Just kidding. But yeah, CNXA is making that move. Looking to take out 73.50 in the fraction. What do we call that when it's under a penny? Is it just fraction?
Penny?
Just, well, I mean, like no, not under a penny. When the stock price is 73 and change, 73 cents and change. Is there a specific name we're calling that, or is it just fraction?
No, yeah, it's just you're talking about more decimal places to the right of the decimal on those penny stocks. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just, you know what I do? I round up. If it's 73.75, it's 74 cents because I'm not going to waste time on a stock that small. Mentioning all of those. ONMD, if you were playing that curl here and moved through the VWAP.
Oh yeah,
call it garbage. Voodoo from the top rope out of the corner says, "Call it garbage." Macho Man elbow drop right there. Love it.
Cup of coffee, cream of the crop. Speaking of waste management, every time we talk about garbage, I always end up going back to WM.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk. I thought you were going to talk about The Sopranos.
No. Every time I hear the word trash or garbage, I'm like, oh, I wonder how waste management's doing today. You know, just because I think this is going to be one of those companies that has just perpetual growth. Everybody's always going to have trash, especially this year. In an election year, there's going to be plenty of trash to pick up.
Yeah, there is. Voodoo traded Mark yesterday. You guys traded Mark this thing.
Oh, well, okay. Well, he knows trash when he sees it.
I was going to say he can identify it when he sees it. You're exactly right.
That whole conversation yesterday was so funny. Hey, the CEO is hiding out in Taipei. Tom, do you know him?
I was like, no, I don't know. I don't know if anyone that's hiding out. First day back from Florida, didn't want to leave. Well, you know what, Voodoo, I'm sorry about that, but we are glad to have you back here. So welcome back. Glad your travels were safe.
Yep. Glad to have you back.
Smash up the like for our chat scanner here today. I was really excited today with full slate here. We had, Andy join us yesterday. Andy did a great job yesterday, by the way. Got a lot of compliments about Andy yesterday as well.
Yep.
So that was cool.
Can I extend congratulations to everybody that traded ENSC and got out before the death candle that it's forming now?
You can congratulate me anytime you want. Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Congratulations. It's looking, it's right. It went right back to where your entry was.
Yep. And I'm glad I took those gains off the table, right?
Yep.
Glad I took those gains off the table. All right. We got about 7 minutes left here for the day. Been a good one. Been a good one.
Yeah.
Been action packed. Just as a reminder here, it was awesome having Michael on. I tell you what, the setups that he had today, they were spot on. I mean, all three of them were great. Hopefully someone was able to bank from that. Again, be sure to stick around on Friday. We got some exciting news coming. I got some plans. I've been working behind the scenes here. I got some plans. So really, really excited to kind of share some of the new visions here with you folks. I really want to thank everyone for the feedback that you've given us over the years at this point now. We definitely want to drive the show to entertain as many people as possible. We want this to be as helpful for as large of a group as possible. I know we have groups that trade penny stocks, group that trade small stocks, group that trade big stocks. We're going to do our best to cover them all. We're going to do our best to expand into other things like options trading and stuff like that. So I got a lot of really good ideas. I want to make this community, it's already the best, but I want to make it even better. And I want to make that productivity higher. So really, really appreciate everyone tuning in, all the feedback. Looking forward to it this week. John says, been watching for an hour. Love the stream. Subscribe. John, welcome to the family.
Welcome.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, my man.
Look at that pull in CNXA. Some people got to where they wanted and said, okay, that's good enough for me, and left, slamming the door on the way out. Wow, everything just kind of rolling over right now.
Look at SMCI. That thing was a rager out of the gate here. That's definitely rolling over here. We're actually beneath the VWAP here on SMCI. Market still at lows, by the way. SPY and the Qs at lows here.
There are some that are trying to recover, like REVB seems to be one such company that's trying to retake the 65 EMA on the 5 minute. But a lot of these names have their volume dried up, and they probably will stay that way until later on today.
No, what's notable, VIX traded above 14 here today. VIX at 14.2. It's the first time we've seen a print above 14 recently. I know we had that odd candle that took us to 1535. I think it was that last week or Monday.
Yeah. What's going on with Mark? I'm seeing a mention in Mark.
Is Mark getting wild again? Oh yeah, pop here on Mark. I'm staying away from this. I'm gonna heed my own advice. Excuse me, staying away from Mark. That's for sure.
Yeah, gonna be marked for death.
Mini me above the VWAP here. Smoke Tuna saying ENSC not done. Looks like it was just kind of a pullback. To Smoke Tuna's point here, we actually did not break those lows. So even if I had still stayed in this with the stop that I had, I would not have been stopped out of this. I only raised the stop because I wanted to book gains should something like this happen. So ENSC, you're right, Smoke Tuna. Maybe it's not done. This first move here, a little bit of a pullback, but maybe it's not done. Jim, I absolutely love hearing this. Jim, great to see you here this morning. Thanks, guys. Hit both AHT and ONMD out for the day. Jim, congratulate yourself, man. You worked for a couple of hours this morning? Awesome stuff here. Love having you around.
Best job ever.
It really is, man. It really, really is.
TSVT, low volume, but it's trying to bounce off the VWAP. If we get an EMA crossing, it might make a move, but be careful at this particular time when volume's leaving the market. Oh yes, I nod. Keep bleeding. When you get down to my level, I'll hand you the gauze.
Yeah, I didn't sell any when it was in that 11. Didn't quite hit my target. And it's funny too because I watch it kind of come in now and I'm like, oh, really wish I took that. Really wish I took that.
My whole trading idea ever since we got in around the same price, and I don't have any positions right now because I was trading off technicals, was waiting for that big move out of that broadening wedge to happen, and now I'm out and I want to reload back at that pattern entry level, which was around 925.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if it's going to get down that far, but under 10 I'll be adding or buying back in.
NVAX pop into the highs here. EKS giving you some crude oil inventories.
All right. EKS looking for Google to bounce. Let's take a look at Google.
Voodoo, yes, I did. I didn't take any action on that, though. I actually had a couple of things go kind of crazy here. I will revisit that, though. I'm always looking for tips like that, and I appreciate you sending that out. Okay, folks, that is gonna do it for us here today. We are this is just a great day. It's been a good week. I know we've got the Fed meeting here today, so we're gonna see where that ends up. We do have some more earnings on deck for today. Have some more tomorrow morning, and of course, tomorrow is really the big day. So I just want to thank everyone for your participation here today. All of the kind words. 13, thank you so much again for joining it. I'm going to get 13 out of here and I'm going to get right back to this. So, all right, folks, we are done for the day. Stick around. We are going to have Qualcomm earnings later today and an FOMC conference as well. Hit the like and subscribe. Stay green, stay safe, and we'll